Okay, so this is a guy we've actually played a couple of his videos on the show before. He's crazy. Um, he's I guess that's kind of mean. He's a Christian guy. He's going to. This is his challenge to atheists and evolutionists, and we're going. Let's see if we can meet the challenge. You know, he's really laying down the gauntlet because if I saw this guy on the street, I would be so scared. Like, look at him. This guy is hard.
Oh dear.
I have a message I want to get out to people who believe in evolution and atheism in general. They want to reject Christianity outright, and you want to think that Christians are stupid just because they reject evolution. Before I could ever be convinced macroevolution is even possible, somebody would need to be able to explain to me how clearly designed things happened accidentally.
Clearly designed. Seriously?
Uh, oh.
Clearly designed. Yeah, because we need that tailbone and that appendix and
The tailbone is actually what really holds the human body together. If you really look at it,
yeah. Yeah.
it's the piece de resistance. No, I like. And by the way, there's also no such thing really as macro evolution. That's another thing they try to do.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of argument. I actually kind of want to know why he's making this argument when there's clearly no design going on with his haircut. Like it's just the weirdest haircut I've ever seen. It seems like there's like bits on the side that haven't been trimmed, but I don't know, man. I don't want to pick on you, but you might want to do something about that. Kind of
Little gel. Little bit of gel here and there, maybe. Yeah.
maybe. He kind of looks like Jeremy Renner to me a little bit. I don't know. He's got a very distinctive face. I guess we'll hear more of his argument a little bit. So
Now,
compelling.
primary example of irreducible complexity that
Ugh.
I don't see how you can explain away through any kind of natural selection is the way an owl's eye works.
Ah.
First of all, owl eyes have to be very large. Proportionally speaking, if our eyes were the size of owl eyes, they'd be about as big as grapefruits. Also, our eyes are spherical, like most eyes. I'm not an expert on eyes, but I know that most eyes are spherical. Owl eyes are more cylindrical, and they work like binoculars.
What?
Because they work like binoculars, they can't focus up close, and they need to be held in place by special bones. So the eye socket itself has to have special bones that prevent the eye from moving. Whereas we look around and look around. They can't do that. They move their head. And for that reason, they need specialized bones in their neck.
Yeah, that's great.
And they need
Yeah, I mean those are some really good arguments for evolution and
Evolution.
speciation. Honestly, yeah. Hey, listen,
They evolve.
Steve, whatever your name is. I don't remember your name right now. Owls are a lot different from humans. In fact, there are many differences, and those are not the only ones that you just listed.
No.
What's your point there, sir? What exactly are you getting at? Yeah, if you look at an owl's bone structure, it's probably going to be a little different than a human's.
Just a touch.
Because they evolved to live differently than us.
Indeed.
specialized muscles.
Oh my. It keeps buffering, sorry. What are you doing?
you're right.
What are you doing, video?
Yeah.
Work for me, come on. This guy doesn't want to play. This guy's being garbage.
Need specialized muscles. Need specialized muscles in their neck so that they can turn their head 270 degrees.
Okay.
That's why they need that special stuff, whereas we don't because our eyes work differently.
Yes.
On top of that,
Argument, but anyway.
most animals that can see at night have a lot of rods in their eyes. And most animals that can see well in the day have a lot of cones in their eyes. But you typically don't see something that sees well both in day and night. Owls are different. They have a special mechanism that works kind of like sunglasses, independent in either eye. So they can shade each eye independent based on the environment. And they also
Gee, it's almost like owls adapted to be able to see during both periods of time.
Right. Yeah. Funny that.
You know, a bit of a coinky dink.
Yeah.
I don't.
That was so well
I-
designed.
Am I the only one? I don't get his point. I don't get what he's getting at. What does this
I don't think
prove
he gets his
exactly?
point. I don't
also
think
have
he
a
gets
lot of
his
rods.
point at all.
Also have a lot of rods and a lot of cones, so they can see well at night. And then in the daytime, when their eyes are getting washed with too much sunlight, they can do like a sunglasses effect to basically make it so they can see just fine during the day without getting their eye washed out by the excessive sunlight.
Yes, that's called an adaptation.
That is,
Yeah.
as far as I know, a unique aspect of owl eyes. All of these features of owl eyes are unique to owls.
Okay.
You can't find an eye that works anything remotely close to an owl's eye between owls and anything else. Because if you take any of these characteristics of owl eyes and remove them, the eyes don't work anymore. So you need all of these things. It's irreducible complexity, and there's so much complexity, so many unique pieces that need to all be in
Because
place.
it's complex. Because it's complex, it must be designed.
Yep.
Has to be, surely.
Because I personally can't explain how this came about, except we can through modern science. Because I can't explain that personally, therefore I'm going to invoke an even more complicated process as to how owl eyes were created.
Yep. Magic.
Yeah, these couldn't have come about through natural means. It must have been magic. It's like, oh my. Let's just stop. Like, they're always fishing so hard when it comes to this.
Indeed.
Just stop. You guys don't have a good argument for this. I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna forgive you all if you just drop it. Just drop it. I'll forget about all the stupid stuff you said. I really will. I'll be like, Ken Ham's a great guy. As long as he stops talking about this. Because when it comes to this, he's a dunce, and you are also a dunce.
Yep.
In order for the eye to work, it's really irrational to conclude that happened by accident. My second question to anyone who wants to
Why
think
does the
that this
lighting
happened
keep
by
changing?
itself is that people will walk into a factory. I walk into factories all the time. With my line of work, I write software that automates factories, or specifically assembly lines and things.
Okay.
People walk into a factory, and I've never heard anyone even conclude remotely, like jokingly, look at all this factory that created itself.
God.
Yet one human cell, or actually one cell of any type, is far more complex than any factory on the planet.
Stop. Okay. Here's hey buddy. Let's have a chat. Factories, unlike cells, aren't alive. Like, it's not like they're transformers, okay? It's not like the factory is gonna get up and be like, I'm gonna change myself. The factory
You have to
is
turn them
built
on.
up, the factory is built up of inanimate objects. They have no way of self-replicating. So,
Could you imagine these factories self-replicate?
and giving birth to baby factories.
Factories running around everywhere.
Well, in America, corporations are people, so it's possible.
Oh, well, yeah. Yeah, there is that.
So you can walk into a factory and say, wow, this is amazing what they can do, and they make all these products or whatever. And there's factories where there's raw materials coming in. They get processed into other raw materials, and then they get manufactured into goods, and they go out as goods out the other side of the plant. We have plants like that, obviously made by man. Also, not even remotely as complex as a single cell. Why is it that you can conclude that a cell created itself with all that complexity, all that obvious design, all that digital software in the form of DNA,
Software.
Yet you look at a factory and you say, isn't this a neat thing that somebody came up with to automate this process? That's another question that I think you'll...
I don't think cells didn't create themselves, though.
No,
You
no.
can't create yourself.
No.
That makes no sense.
No.
I'm going to give birth to myself now. Like, no. That's lunacy. That's not what anyone's saying at all. You're completely missing the point. The point is that cells were created, and these cells have the ability to self-replicate because they're actually alive, unlike a factory that cannot self-replicate. Moron. Oh. I can't even bear to look at you at this point. I'm just gonna look away. No. I'll still have to hear his voice though. It's probably even worse. Well, I guess we'll do a little bit more and then we'll move into the next thing.
You'll have a hard time...
He's pretty garbage, I know.
You'll have a hard time answering, or just a general observation that I think your worldview will reject, is how there are so many extremely specific prophecies in the Bible that did happen. Now, this one particular prophecy I'm about to share with you was satisfied so specifically that some false historians have claimed, oh, the book of Isaiah was written by more than one author, because they want to say that, oh, this part of the prophecy was written after the Medo-Persian Empire. They conquered Babylon. And so they want to pretend that this was not a prophecy because it was written 150 years before that happened. But this is actually prophesied 2 places in the Bible, and I'll show you both. Okay, so this is Isaiah 44, 24 to Isaiah 45. I'll read to verse 5. Thus saith the Lord, thy Redeemer, and he that formed thee from the womb. I am the Lord that maketh all things, that stretcheth forth the heavens alone, that spreadeth abroad the earth by myself, that frustrateth the tokens of the liars, and maketh diviners mad, that turneth wise men backward, and maketh their knowledge foolish, that confirmeth the word of his servant, and preserveth or performeth the counsel of his messengers, that saith to Jerusalem, thou shalt be inhabited, and to the cities of Judah, ye shall be built, and I will raise up the decayed places thereof, that saith to the deep, be dry.
I'm trying really hard to not...
Who's sitting here like, oh yeah, huh? I feel
I'm
it.
trying really hard for my eyes to not glaze over here. It's just really...
I like his face in this frame. What point is he even trying to make now? He's completely abandoned the topic. I don't know. This video is so all over the place. It's just wow.
Water. Water. So he's saying he's going to dry up some water. Okay. And I will dry up thy rivers. Thus that saith of Cyrus, he is my shepherd, and shall perform all my pleasure, even saying to Jerusalem, thou shalt be built, and to the temple thy foundation shall be laid. Cyrus was the name of the leader of the Medo-Persian Empire that conquered Babylon. The way they conquered Babylon is they redirected the water that was feeding the moat around Babylon and dried it up. This, 150 years earlier, said that the rivers would be dried up and Cyrus would conquer Babylon.
I've heard this prophecy many a time, and
yeah, I've heard this one before.
It's completely absurd. It's most likely what is known as a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, yep.
Because basically you prophesied that one day there would be a king named Cyrus, and 150 years later there was a king named Cyrus, a common name. That'd be like saying, well, one day there's going to be a CEO named Johnson. Like, oh, prophecy fulfilled. Johnson was CEO.
See, I was right.
that done proved it true. Not to mention, this is all based on very spurious historicity anyway.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Nope, it's true.
It's true because God said so.
It also says that he'll rebuild Jerusalem, which he also did, and you can read more about that in the book of Nehemiah. Isaiah 45. Thus saith the Lord to his anointed, to Cyrus, whose right hand I have holden, to subdue nations before him. And I will loose the loins of kings, to open before him the two leaved gates. And the gates shall not be shut. I will go before thee, and make the crooked places straight. I will break in pieces the gates of brass, and cut in sunder the bars of iron. And I will give thee the treasures of darkness and hidden riches of secret places, that thou mayest know that I am the Lord, which call thee by thy name, am the God of Israel. For Jacob my servant's sake, and Israel mine elect, I have even called thee by thy name. I have surnamed thee, though thou hast not known me. Cyrus did not know about this prophecy, and when he did this, I have heard in some accounts that actually Daniel, because Daniel was still alive when this happened, actually took a scroll of Isaiah to Cyrus, showed him this prophecy, and that is why he let them rebuild Jerusalem, because it scared the crap out of him when he saw his name in a prophecy that was written 150.
Just no.
What? He was talking about loins and gates?
Yep.
What?
You know, he does that in a lot of these videos. He just kind of crouches over and reads Bible verses, and it's not exactly the most exciting thing in the world, if you can imagine.
No. Oh,
This is like saying, well, you know, the prophecy said that Harry would defeat Voldemort, so clearly it has to be true, because earlier in the book it was prophesied that he was the chosen one who would defeat the Dark Lord, and that just proves that it's true. It's like, no, that just proves that people wrote a book, and books have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And there's this thing called foreshadowing, moron. This cannot be backed up historically. I'm sorry, it just can't. It's fan fiction. I'm sorry. You're basically sitting there in your really depressing looking room, reading fan fiction to us as if it's true. And I spit on your challenge. It's not happening. Your challenge failed, sir. We're going to move on. That's enough of this guy. Anything else you want to say about him?
No. He's just painful. Really painful to listen to.
Very.
And I don't think he's actually making any points at all. He's just reading random verses.
He strayed from his original topic so far that now we're both just like, what? What are you even talking about, dude?
An insight into the mind of a religious person.
Yep. It's just it's a never-ending, just bouncing around ideas. Like, oh, now I'm here, now I'm here, now I'm here, now I'm here. There's no link between these ideas. I just gotta make a leap of faith, and I get there somehow. Yay, wee! They have the leap of faith is fun for them. They're like, yay, wee! Right over the chasm.
Jumbo slide.
A jumbo slide of faith.